Hello, fellow book lovers, and welcome to Books That Go Bump in the Night, Part 1. I'm your host, Katie from Adult Services. Let's get started. Today we are going to talk about what we're calling gentle scares. But how are we defining gentle scares? Well, light gore, moderate scares, creepy, unsettling, atmospheric, full of tension. But let's remember, horror is subjective. What's really scary to you might not be that scary to somebody else. So before you dive into any of the following books, make sure you do a little bit of research so you aren't going to accidentally give yourself nightmares for Halloween season. Here we go. Our first gentle scare, as it were, is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. And what I love about this book is that it takes classic monsters of classic horror books and lore, and it kind of spins the concept on its head. You are following the daughters of famous literary monsters, and they join forces to solve a murder mystery, and in some cases, the mysteries of their own origins. It's funny, witty, it's historical fiction, good for historical fiction fans, strong female characters, and I would say on a scare scale, if I'm doing a scare scale, this is on the very lowest end. So this is a safe choice. It's got some monsters in it, but hopefully not too scary, more of a fun mystery. The next book on our gentle scares list is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a multi-award winning book. It is marketed towards young adults. However, it is good for all ages, I would say, teens and up, maybe like tweens, so like 11 up. It's about a little boy who is raised by ghosts and other denizens of the graveyard after his family meets an untimely fate. It's also a graphic novel. It's quirky, darkly humorous, good for fans of the Lockwood and Company book series. I would say it's got some scares. The antagonist, the bad guy, is not a very nice man. So, um, with that being said, it's a really fun, sweet, and scary read. The next book on our list for gentle scares is Something Wicked This Way Comes, one of my favorite books by Ray Bradbury. This is a classic coming-of-age novel about two young boys who discover the dark secrets of a sinister carnival. It's really good for fans of Stranger Things, and again, it's one of my very favorites. Ray Bradbury always writes his books set in, well, not always, but most of the time writes books set in Illinois, and there's that Midwest flavor throughout. Really good, creepy, but not too violent. It's an excellent read, highly recommended. Our next recommended gentle scares read is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. That's maybe a familiar title to many of you. There is also the Netflix adaptation, very different, very different. So if you're looking to compare the two, I would say start with the book first. The Netflix adaptation is much more scary, visually scary. The book is more psychological. It's gothic horror. There are ghosts, classic chills. Four paranormal investigators come together to explore an 80-year-old mansion harboring dark secrets, and Shirley Jackson is one of the masters of this classic genre. The next book is Night Film by Marisha Pessl, and this is another one of my favorite books. It's much more psychological, dreamlike, and intricate than the other books on the list. Good for crime fiction fans. It's about an investigative journalist probing into the strange circumstances of the death of the daughter of a cult horror film director, and his kind of mysterious and dreamlike journey through the life and mysteries of his films. So, definitely a recommended read. All right, other recommendations. Filled with atmosphere and dread, but some of these may contain more violence and gore, like Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Excellent book if you love tension. The point of view for much of the book is you can't see anything that our characters can't see. So adds a lot of suspense, some very violent scenes, I will warn you up front. So, but still an excellent, excellent book. Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Really good, came out last year. Gothic horror, excellently done, and a Latina author, so definitely worth a read. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, and Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, both very dreamlike and strange. House of Leaves is like you're kind of reading a story within a story within a story. So if you like that kind of feel, similar to Night Film in a few ways, you might enjoy House of Leaves. Imaginary Friend. You'll probably recognize Stephen Chbosky as the author of Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'll tell you right now, this book is completely different. So don't go in with any expectations that it will be like Perks of Being a Wallflower. It is similar in scope to Stephen King novels. It's kind of epic, long, centers on a young boy and an entity that may or may not be his friend. Speaking of Stephen King, the book of short stories, 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill, he is the son of Stephen King. Some stories are more violent than others. Some are more quiet or psychological. So kind of take your pick in there. And then Magic for Beginners by Kelly Link might be more fantasy than horror, but she really does a great job mixing the two together and giving you kind of an unsettling, I believe the term is slipstream feel for your reading. So you kind of feel like you're in a dream, you're not sure what's real. She's so good at it. But if you're looking for more read-alikes, head to our website, clpl.org, and hit the research tab, look under books and reading for reading suggestions, and go into Novelist Plus. It is an excellent resource for what we call read-alikes. If you look up a book that you like, or you want to look up one of these books and see what's similar, you can do it right there. You just need your library card number. We hope you'll join us next time for part 2, where we go into some more traditionally scary, slasher, violent, more, I guess, traditional in terms of what you think of when you think of scary horror books. But hopefully you found something on this list you might enjoy, and if you do, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.